Let's look at compound subjects and predicates. This is another way to combine sentences. However, these do not have two complete sentences. So you've practiced compound sentences where you cover up the comma and the fanboys and notice the two complete sentences. These are a little bit different, but it's another way to combine simple sentences or baby sentences. Compound subjects mean that in two different sentences, each subject is doing the same thing. So notice these sentences. Julie wants to go to the party. Lucy wants to go to the party. Notice that the predicate, what is happening, is the same in both sentences. In both sentences, the subject wants to go to the party. The subjects in the first sentence, or the subject in the first sentence, is Julie. The subject in the second sentence is Lucy. So you can combine them because both subjects are doing the same thing. So you use one sentence to show this. Julie and Lucy want to go to the party, rather than using two little baby sentences. Notice that the verb changed to match the plural subject. If the subject is plural, then the verb cannot have the S on it. Try this one. Jason went to the baseball game. His friends went to the baseball game. Both sentences have the same predicate. In both sentences, someone is going to the baseball game or has gone there. So you can combine it by saying Jason and his friends went to the baseball game. Look at compound predicates. My dad likes to go fishing. My dad likes to go hunting. Notice that the subject, the who or what in the sentence, is the same in both sentences. So you don't need to repeat what your dad likes to do. So look at what's happening in each sentence. In the first one, my dad likes to go fishing. In the second one, my dad likes to go hunting. Instead of repeating yourself, you can combine it to say my dad likes to go fishing and hunting. Because the subject is the same in both sentences, just use one sentence to show that the subject likes two things. Try this one. John plays baseball. He plays soccer also. You can combine these even though at your first glance it may not look like they are the same. The subject is the same even though in the second sentence we use the pronoun. He replaced the name John. So if you were to see this in someone's writing, it would more likely look like this rather than repeating the name. More than likely, it wouldn't say John plays baseball, John plays soccer also. It would use he. So how can you combine that sentence into one? Think of it. Now see if you got it right. John plays baseball and soccer. Did you get it right? Here's how you can check compound subjects and predicates. The reason, before we look at it, the reason that you need to be able to do that is so you can decide, is this a way that sentences can be combined? So first, check that you do not have two complete sentences. If you do have two complete sentences, then you'll need a comma with that fanboy. Second, check that the subjects are doing the same thing or that the subject is doing two different things. So as we go, you'll see this is, if the subjects are doing the same thing, then you'll know you combined your subjects. Or if the subject is doing two different things, then you combine your predicate. So look at this one. Sue likes chicken and shrimp. So just like when you check a compound sentence to see that you have two sentences, you are going to cover up the fanboy. Okay? So then you look and you see that you only have one sentence. And sometimes you won't even have one complete sentence. And I'll show you an example of that. But look at it and ask yourself, what two things is the subject doing? So first, check that you don't have the two complete sentences. If the sentence would have been all together, you would have covered up and. You would see Sue likes chicken. That's a complete sentence. But with and covered up, all you have left is shrimp. That's not a complete sentence because the shrimp is not doing anything. Second, check that the subjects are doing the same thing or that the subject is doing two different things. So because we have one subject, Sue, she likes two different things. So I don't ever write these sentences out when I'm checking. I just read it like this. Sue likes chicken, and I see the and shrimp. So I just cover that up and then read it the second time. Sue likes, cover up what she liked the first time, and your fanboy, and shrimp. Sue likes chicken, Sue likes shrimp. Okay, try this one. First, check that you do not have two complete sentences. Your sentence is Tom and Joe went to the store. If I cover up and, my first sentence would be Tom. Tom is not doing anything, so it's incomplete. The second sentence would be Joe went to the store. That's complete, even though it says incomplete. I will fix that. But that one is complete. Joe went to the store. Second, check that the two subjects are doing the same thing or that the subject is doing two different things. Tom and Joe went to the store. I can read it and say Tom went to the store. Joe went to the store. So my subjects are doing the same thing. I have two subjects and they're doing the same thing. So it was okay to combine those. Here's another way that they can be combined. Usually you're going to use the fanboy and, but or can be used. So follow the 2 steps to prove that the following sentences are compound subjects and predicates. Look at that first sentence. Beth will go to the library or the bookstore. So there's only one subject. Check that she's doing 2 things. First, check that you don't have 2 sentences, and then check that she's doing 2 things. So if you covered up or, you would have Beth will go to the library. That's a complete sentence. And you would have the bookstore. That's not a complete sentence. Now check that she's doing 2 things. Could you have made that into 2 sentences? Beth will go to the library. Beth will go to the bookstore. Could have made it 2 sentences. So that means that it's acceptable to put them together. Look at the next one. Lee wants to buy a blue or red bike. This one is a little bit different because you're not going to get 2, you're going to get 2 incomplete sentences. So if you covered up or, you would have Lee wants to buy a blue. That's not a complete sentence. You would have red bike. That's not a complete sentence. You have to cover it up a little bit differently in order to see that he wants 2 things. Lee wants to buy a blue bike, and then I can cover up the color and or here. Lee wants to buy a red bike. He's wanting to do 2 things, so it's okay to combine those. Sue or Jim must clean the kitchen. Cover up or. Is Sue a complete sentence? Is Jim must complete the kitchen? Jim must clean the kitchen a complete sentence? You have 1 complete sentence. You do not have 2, so it's okay to combine them then. Sue must clean the kitchen. Jim must clean the kitchen. They were doing the same thing. 2 different subjects doing the same thing, so it's okay to combine them. Last one, Sarah or Sam can help you. Cover up the fanboy and see your sentences. Sarah would be your first sentence, and that's incomplete. Sam can help you. That's a complete sentence. See if they're both doing the same thing. Sarah can help you. Sam can help you. Because you could have made that into 2 sentences and they're both doing the same thing, then it's acceptable to combine them this way. Look in your writing to see where you have compound subjects or predicates, or where you could combine 2 sentences. So you don't have 2 small baby sentences, but you have a sentence that takes care of what you were saying in multiple sentences with just 1 sentence.